I felt like it was supposed to be America first. Like we're focusing on like, what are we doing to get things back into America, right? To
Exactly.
like increase like the purpose of being an American, to refill like our hearts with blood and like and make us feel something again here and
Yeah.
make us be excited about being an American, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like that was what a lot of the energy was for. And then now that we're caught up here and it feels like we are just working for Israel, I think to a lot of people, it's, I don't know, you just really start to feel very disillusioned pretty quickly. And
yeah, so I just want to jump in here and say this is a sign that the Trump movement or the Trump brand or whatever it is that his presidency was supposed to be is already failing miserably. And what you when you have someone like Theo Vonn, who is sort of MAGA adjacent, who is with the movement, who felt the energy, and I don't know if he voted for him or not, but certainly people that like Theo Vonn or in his circle did vote for Donald Trump, that they're not getting what they thought they were getting. And so Trump has now pivoted. It seems like he's got sucked up or sucked in or dragged along with just the traditional, typical neocon, miserable, failing Republican policies of all of our lives. And that disillusionment is what Theo Vonn is starting to feel, is starting to express. Maybe he's not able to express it as strongly or as he might want to, but you can see that is the vibe that is starting to come through. And for him to be talking about it like this, he feels very strongly. So let's continue with the conversation, but that is very notable, to say the least.
And I don't mean disillusioned in people. I don't mean disillusioned in like the human beings, but this disillusioned in our leaders, right? You start to feel like, I don't know, at one point, neither one of these parties is helping us.
Well, they both seem like parties that have gotten us into war. I mean, $6 trillion it cost us into Iraq and Afghanistan. And we need now an anti-war movement in this country. And I don't think it has to be Democrat or Republican. I think Americans are sick of war. Here are the two things I think we could do. Look, on how do you end the war in Gaza? Right?
Yeah, that's a great question. What would you do to curtail things right now in Gaza? Do you think they're really going to aim for like a two-party state over there? To me, it looks like they're just going to try to sweep these people into the ocean, Well, I hate to say that.
The problem is you've got Netanyahu, who is listening to his right wing, right? Ben Gvir and Smotrich. These are two guys.
Smokeless is other guy's name?
Smotrich.
Bring him up.
There he is, Smotrich.
Bezalel Smotrich, yeah.
And these guys are basically telling Netanyahu that if you stop bombing Gaza until all of Hamas is killed, that we won't support you for prime minister. So if Netanyahu stops, he stops being prime minister.
I see what he's saying. So he's in a bit of a catch-22.
He's in a catch-22.
But I don't understand if because you always hear great things about the Israeli military, right? The IDF, you always hear like how amazing they are. And I've met a lot of former people that have been in it and guys who were like in the Krav Maga, some really talented warriors, really. But then why not send like your Navy SEALs to get the actual Hamas people? I don't understand this. If you're so precise, then what is this? You're bug spraying this group, these people, like
they got them in the first 3 months. They destroyed most of Hamas's military capability. But the reality is Hamas is both a military movement, but it's also partly a political movement. I mean, there are people.
Right. Some people in Palestine elected Hamas because they thought they needed a desperate political party.
Exactly.
Right.
So then the question is, well, what do you do? Because I agree with you that Hamas can't be governing Gaza.
Yeah.
And so there is a solution. And the solution is the president, Donald Trump, can call Netanyahu. He says, okay, enough with the bombing. We're giving them right now 2,000-pound bombs to hit these civilians. We're giving them.
There's a video the other day. Sorry to interrupt you, bro.
Please.
Can you see if you can pull it up, Trevor? There was a video of a child picking up the casing of a missile and reading it, I think. See if you find that. Maybe we can't find it. That's okay. Do you think there's any chance of Palestine getting its land back there?
I do. But first of all, I mean, you talked about this child getting a missile. I mean, how would it make you feel that our tax dollars actually were paying for a lot of the missiles and the weapons that are being used to now kill Palestinians.
I agree. I think we've given them $12 billion this year, Israel allegedly. Can you look up what amount of war materials that we've given them, Trevin? United States provided significant military aid to Israel throughout 2025. The Trump administration, which took office in January 2025, has approved nearly $12 billion in major foreign military sales to Israel. This includes nearly a $3 billion arms sale. Does that mean we're selling them to them?
We're selling part of them to them, and then we've also given aid. Now, I voted against the offensive weapons aid about last year, but we approved it. So some of it is in aid, some of it is in sales. Trump is giving them 2,000-pound bombs that they can be using. So here's, though, what I think that I'm hoping he or others may be listening to this, because your voice really matters, because and a lot of people who voted for him, and they voted for him because they wanted American patriotism. They wanted to focus on building our industrial base. They wanted us out of these wars. Donald Trump can call Netanyahu and he says, enough. We're not going to be giving you more offensive weapons to kill more civilians in Gaza. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to convene Saudi Arabia. I'm going to convene Jordan. What
does convene mean?
Convene mean bring them together.
Okay.
Convene, bring them together. That's it. We're going to get the Arab states together. Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, people in Palestine, Fatah, Israel, the United States. And we're going to say we need a new government in Gaza. It can't be Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization. We're going to get rid of Hamas. And we're going to make sure that this new government has Palestinian voices, but also has Saudi, Jordan, Egypt, part of it, to make it secure,
right,
so that they don't attack Israel. Because Saudi doesn't want to attack Israel. He could win the Nobel Prize. He wants to always win the Nobel Prize.
Donald Trump?
Donald Trump could win the Nobel Prize.
How could he win it, do you think, Ro?
I think if he comes in and he says to Netanyahu, stop this, I'm actually the president who's going to bring peace. And here's how we're going to do it. It's not just going to be Israel, the United States, and Palestine, because we agree Hamas can't be anywhere running Gaza. I mean, Hamas has called for the destruction of Israel. We have to stand for Israel's right to exist as a Jewish democratic state. I mean, that is a principle we have to respect. But we're going to get Saudi Arabia,
and they have to respect Palestine's right to exist.
They have to respect Palestine's right to self-determination and have a Palestinian state in Gaza and in the West Bank. And you can get those two states, and with land swaps, you could actually make it that even a lot of the settlers are still going to be able to stay in some of the places. I mean, you could get to a lot of the deal we know that needs to happen. But Trump has a good relationship with the Saudis. We have a good relationship with Jordan. We've got a good relationship with Egypt. Get all of these countries on board and say, okay, what is the new Palestinian leadership going to look like? Saudi, Egypt, Jordan, are you going to guarantee?
Qatar, too.
Qatar.
My boys over there.
I
was just over there, man. They had us all dressed up like a bunch of Ku Klux Klansmen.
You were in Qatar?
Yeah.
What were you doing in Qatar?
They had me come and perform for the troops.
Wow.
It was really great. It was pretty special. But sorry, I interrupted you just to get a joke in, but also was excited and had a great time there. They really treated me very nice. People thought I was a spy. I thought maybe they were going to try.
Well, you could be part of this whole Middle East plan. Maybe you'll go perform if they get a state there. I mean,
Look, we'll stop it there for now. I mean, you pretty much hear it fully laid out. Khanna, obviously a Democratic politician. Maybe I'll pop myself up here and talk to you guys. But man, I really wish that the Trump that people envisioned, that people felt, the energy that they felt, the Theo Vonns of the world, that was the one that we got. I mean, I certainly wasn't fooled by it. I sort of know the amoral landscape that Trump exists in. I just wish he wasn't. I just wish that this whole situation was going in a different direction. I feel really badly for the Palestinians. I feel badly for the people. I feel badly for everybody in that part of the world, to be honest. I'll even include the Israelis and the people that have been sort of manipulated by this fascist, right-wing, bloodthirsty. Even though a lot of the Israelis are complicit now in this. It's terrible. And I like the fact that you're getting a solution proposed there, Khanna putting it forward. Maybe it's a little bit, rose-colored glasses. Maybe we're a little bit too far down the line for that kind of a solution to work. But we definitely had the possibility to go in that direction. Every single one of our leaders, Biden included, just got sucked along with the Israeli plan and Netanyahu and his government's plan every step of the way. You could say they outsmarted us. They got us sucked in with donor money and all those things. But it's really unfortunate. So looks like Theo Vonn is starting to wake up to that. Hopefully he starts speaking up more, because he hesitates to do so, but he really should. He's got an important voice, I think, to speak to the everyman of this country, I think. So let me know what you guys think. Drop a like, comment, and go check out the rest of that interview, as I will as well. And peace.